Hi guys, I'm back. Anyway, today, well, we'll start with my weight loss or gain, as the case may be. Unfortunately, I don't mean to laugh because it's actually pretty sad. I gained, what did I gain? 0.7. I thought I gained 0.5, but I'm looking at this and it says 0.7. I don't know if I can show it, if we can see it or not. There we go. So it shows that my own total loss so far is just 26.2. I was at 30. Something's happening here that's not good. And I can tell you what's happening. I went on vacation 2 weeks ago, and I had a good time and knew I was going to. Didn't track. I walked less, and then I got back from vacation, and I was so gonna get right back on that horse, and I was gonna do everything I needed to do. And then I never started tracking, and I didn't walk as much, and so therefore I'm gaining. It's like no dummy. It doesn't take much to figure it out, and I don't know, I just got to get motivated to get started again. I am going to walk less than I was walking, and I knew that, and so I kind of gave myself license to just really walk less, which is crazy because I want to hit 15,000, and I've only been hitting around 12. So I don't go for that second walk every day, and it's like I'm tired by then, and I'm kind of in a slump. So Sandy has been urging me to get out of this slump, and it's good that I have a partner to help me with that. We walk every morning, and anyway, so I gave myself a good talking to. I'm going to start tracking again. I'm going to start walking my steps again, because I can't let Sandy catch up to me. She cannot win. It's like a competition between sisters. But anyway, because she's doing great. She's lost like 20 pounds, and I'm only at 26, so I got to get clipping, so she can't catch me. Today, we did not, well, Dorothy was there, but we had Chef Isabella, who is Florine Mark's personal chef, and she cooks dinner for her 6 days a week. And she's come, this is the second time I've seen her. She comes to the meetings, and she was talking today about dressings, homemade dressings, and yes, you can buy them and it's convenient, and you know, and they tell you how many points and everything's good to go, but you can get pretty creative in your kitchen. And she gave us some different recipes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different recipes, and she kind of went over them, but I'm not going to go over those exactly with you. But what I want to say is that she was like, just because the recipe calls for something doesn't mean, I mean, there's one thing in it you don't like, which would apply to me very often because I'm very picky, then we can swap out and switch. And so if you're trying to go for, like, I'll give you an example. She had a yogurt dill dressing, and it's a creamy dressing. So one of the things, first thing is 1 cup low-fat yogurt. Well, if you don't like yogurt, like me, you're going to skip by the recipe. No, don't skip by the recipe, because you have to think about, why is that in there? Why is that in the recipe? And it's to make it creamy. So you can do sour cream, you could do cottage cheese, you could do mayo. If you're doing the cottage cheese, you just put it in a blender or a food processor to get it that consistency that you want, and then use that instead. Of course, you know, she gives totals for these values of how many points it is. So if you're swapping something out, you got to make sure you're realizing if you're adding or making it less by what you're putting in there. But another example is, on this particular recipe, 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Well, say you don't have a lemon. Well, really, we got to think of, what is it doing? It's for the citric acid part. So you can put a different kind of, instead of a lemon, you could have orange, you could have anything citrusy like that, something that you have, swap it out. Or use vinegar, because you want, that's what that's for. The reason that's in the recipe is to get that acid, so use the vinegar. And there's all kinds of different kind of vinegars, so same thing. And again, in this example, she had 1 tablespoon of chopped red onion. Well, so you don't like red onion? Then you should be using a barbecued seasoning. You want to get the bite of that, the onion. Don't think about, you know, I don't like onion. Think about, well, what's going to give me that same thing? And then this recipe was 1 tablespoon of fresh dill. Well, say you don't have dill. Well, then you could use parsley, you could use oregano, whatever kind of seasoning that you like or what you use, just swap it out. So you can make it kind of your own. And then that one also had garlic, clove, and some salt and pepper. So, oh, another thing, if you want it for the creamy, and say you're lactose intolerant, so you don't like sour cream, mayo, or anything like that, she said, well, then use tofu, the silken kind. I've never used tofu, so I have no idea. And puree it so that it's got the consistency you want. And she said tofu picks on the taste of whatever you're doing. There's no real taste to it. I've never had it, so I have no idea. But again, her idea was just swap things out or add. Like if you're going on all these recipes here, there was a raspberry vinaigrette, and of course it called for raspberries. Well, that's really a fruit vinaigrette, she said. So any kind of fruit you want to add in there. Strawberries, cantaloupe. I would never think to put cantaloupe in a dressing, but she says you don't know until you try it, which is a very true statement. So like when something calls for chilled water, you could use broth if you want to have, you know. What else did she change out? Let's see. Oh, one had called for anchovy paste, which she knew everybody was like, eh. So she said you could put capers or olives instead, you know. And what else and she just put in, like, you could always add in some roasted tomatoes. You can roast them up and then puree them and add them to a dressing, or carrots, or green beans, or sauerkraut, or asparagus. If you're cooking, cook them and then puree them and add them into any one of these recipes, and it's like, you know, there you go. So, and then when you make your homemade dressing, she said, don't just think of them as just in a salad. That's what people think of as, you know, but they're not only for salads. You can put them on green vegetables, like, or any vegetables that you're going to saute or steam or boil. You could use them for chicken salad, pasta salad, egg salad, tuna salad. You can use it as a marinade for your meat or fish. Again, I said over the roasted vegetables. And just use the ingredients that you have on hand. So be creative. Get in your kitchen and just try. And a lot of people don't like to cook, but you know, if you get in there and you have fun and then you taste things, the worst case scenario is you've got a cup of something you don't like. It's like not the end of the world. So go ahead and try it. Then Dorothy really didn't talk because the whole time was spent with Isabella. She just gave out the awards and everything in the end, and she did say that the group lost a total of 76.8 pounds, which it was a pretty packed meeting because you could bring a friend. I don't know if those people would have been weighing in. Maybe some people who don't generally stay for a meeting stayed, because it was like not standing room, but almost standing room only. So that's probably why we had such a high total. I don't know. She gave a recipe also for a tuna salad, but I'm going to share that with my sister. She likes tuna salad. I do not. The weekly reader today was a new one, and this topic is, what's your superpower? Know your strengths. They can help you lose. And so there was a question in it, and it has all these different words, and you're supposed to pick what it is you think. You're supposed to pick the top 3 or 5 or something, and then it kind of gives you a little general what those entail. And I don't know, I don't generally do little quizzes and stuff, but what has exercise taught you? Thoughts from the members. I am a strong person. I've pushed through plantar fasciitis, and I worked toward my goal of walking a half marathon. Another one is, it gives me confidence. Not I look good confidence, but I'm in charge of my health and I can do this confidence. And to focus on myself, I brought workout clothes for the first time. The last one is, every time you finish a run or lift a heavier weight, you're engaging mental muscle too, and that can pay off elsewhere in your life. So it's pretty cool. This week's action plan is, think about how you can use one of your strengths to make progress on your weight loss goals. Be specific. So that's that information. I know what I got to do. I got to track and I got to walk more. So I am not going to come to you next week and say, I've gained weight. I am going to come to you and say, I finally got back on track and I have lost some weight, because I am not letting Sandy catch up to me. Not going to happen. Anyway, if you like this, please subscribe. As I always say, please share it with someone who couldn't make a meeting. It's helpful if you're not even in Weight Watchers, just on a weight loss journey. And give me some comments. Even when they're negative, like I said yesterday, that's fine. If you, I'll take constructive criticism, and I will answer you. I try to answer as many as I can. It's getting a little harder. I'm getting more comments, but I do read all of them. Don't doubt that I haven't read it. I just try to get back, and some days I can sit there and have a little bit more time, and I can answer you. So sometimes it takes me a little while, but I do try to get to all of them anyway. And so I will see you again next time. Thanks.